Ready? Okay. Thank you for coming out today. To my right is Deputy State's Attorney Pamela Wells, and to my left, as all of you know, is Chief O'Shea with the Rockford Police Department, and we are here today to give you an update on several criminal investigations. I am announcing today that we have charged Preston Scott, date of birth February 13, 1995, with 7 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. This incident stemmed from August 2nd, 2020 at 10:26 a.m. in the area of Oregon Avenue in Rockford, Illinois. At that time, David Foley was found outside of his vehicle, and he had suffered several gunshot wounds. An autopsy was conducted, and he died as a result of those injuries. The case was investigated by the Rockford Police Department, which has resulted in the charges being filed against Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott is currently in custody on unrelated charges. He had a warrant issued with respect to these charges with a no bond, and that will be served on him at the Winnebago County Jail. In addition, the Rockford Narcotics Division of the Rockford Police Department started a narcotics investigation in September of 2019. The basis of this investigation was to remove illegal firearms from our community, as well as to identify those individuals who were peddling narcotics in our community. As a result, we have charged several individuals with respect to that investigation. The first being John Shanklin, date of birth January 3rd, 1988, who is currently in custody. He is charged with 3 counts of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. These charges are merely allegations, and the defendant is presumed innocent until or unless proven guilty in a court of law. We have also charged Ellsworth Dismuke, date of birth July 6, 1991. He currently has an outstanding warrant with a bond of $500,000. He faces 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon and 1 count of aggravated fleeing to elite police officers. We have charged Travell Smith, date of birth June 1st, 1991. He currently is charged with armed habitual criminal and 1 count of felony unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. He is currently wanted on a bond of $500,000. Tyrone Cooper, date of birth May 1st, 1993. He is charged with 2 counts of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. In addition, he has a warrant that is currently outstanding with a $1 million bond. Robert Montgomery, date of birth June 27, 1980. He is currently charged with 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon, and he is also wanted on a warrant with a bond of $500,000. Dennis Lyles, date of birth December 1st, 1988. Mr. Lyles is charged with 1 count of unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. He is currently wanted on a bond with the bond set at $750,000. Next we have Kevin Booth, date of birth June 1st, 1991. He is wanted on a warrant with a $300,000 bond, and he is currently charged with 1 count of delivery of a controlled substance. What you see displayed on the screen are numerous firearms that were recovered during this investigation. Specifically, we recovered Intratec Cap 10 9mm firearm. In addition, a .357 revolver, You can see here additional firearms that were recovered during this investigation. And we are displaying these for you so that you can see the number of illegal firearms that pervade our community. And so it is incumbent, and I want to commend the Rockford Police Department for initiating this investigation, later being assisted by the FBI. We will continue our collaborative efforts to eradicate the possession of illegal firearms in our community. As we know, gun violence is a serious problem in our community, and we will use all of our resources and our efforts to make sure that those who possess illegal firearms in our community are held accountable, and where evidence exists, charges will be filed. We have also today filed murder charges in a 4-month investigation regarding the death of Mr. Foley. And I want to ensure the community that despite the difficult times and pressures that members of law enforcement are working under, they continue with their goal and their initiative, which is to provide public safety for our community. And I want to thank them for their hard work on this particular investigation, but I want to assure the community that they continue to work on all of those open murder cases in their jurisdiction. They're constantly following up on leads and investigating and bringing matters to my office for review. So I want to give encouragement and hope to those families who have lost loved ones to gun violence, to let you know that law enforcement, in this case the Rockford Police Department, is always working on their cases, putting their best efforts forward so that we can bring a resolution and some type of closure for those families who have lost loved ones to gun violence. As always, all of the defendants charged today are presumed innocent until or unless proven guilty in a court of law. At this time, I would ask Chief O'Shea to come forward to make some remarks, and I would also ask the community to continue to assist us in keeping you safe.
Good morning. Thanks, State's Attorney Heidi Ross, for her work, her office work. Most importantly, community for helping us out, stepping up, giving us information, and working with the detectives in these cases that go on for months and months. And obviously the biggest kudos go to the men and women of the police department, not just us, but the FBI, DEA, county, state, everybody that works with us. Huge, a lot of time and effort goes into these cases, and they don't stop working on them. And the guns, as you saw, they're from rifles to handguns. Our gun violence in Rockford, well, it went down for 3 years. We were doing well, and this year it's just gone the other way. We've had way too many shootings since March of this year, too many homicides this year, and we need people to step up, continue to step up, and give us more information on who the shooters are, who's selling the guns and the drugs, and we'll keep going after them with everything we got. Thanks.
Are there any questions that we're able to answer for you?
Can you clarify when the homicide was? You said August 2nd, 2020.
Oh, I meant April 2nd, 2020. If I said August, that was a mistake. It was April 2nd, 2020 at 10:26 a.m. in the morning in the area of Oregon Avenue.
And where were these weapons confiscated from?
These weapons were confiscated from various locations as a result of the intelligence developed through the investigation.
There was quite a few groups and names. Were there any of them affiliated with each other, or was every single one individual, or maybe a mix of both?
All of the individuals were arrested through that joint investigation by Rockford, who were charged either with the weapons offenses or the narcotics offenses.
So you can't say there is kind of a connection between all of them, or not necessarily?
I can tell you that they were arrested during that operation.
Is there any indication maybe where these guns are coming from? Are they coming from, starting from the Rockford region, coming from outside areas, I guess? Any indication of, kind of where that source is?
What we do know is that they were illegally possessed by these individuals, and as everyone is aware, there are some individuals that were not allowed to possess firearms within the community, And there is also laws that prohibit individuals from possessing certain types of firearms and firearms, for example, that have been defaced. You will get the press release, which will have a little more information.
Is there kind of anything under the law of them possessing it illegal? Some of the bonds seem to like maybe almost as high as say maybe somebody charged with murder, honestly.
Well, as you know, bonds are set by the court, and bonds that are set take in several factors, one being the gravity of the offense. Some of those offenses, as we indicated, have penalties. The unlawful use of weapons offenses, some of them have penalties with a minimum of 7 years and a maximum of 14 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. So certainly those are factors, among other things, that the court would consider in setting the bond.
What plans and strategies do you have in place to help reduce the amount of gun violence in the community?
Is that for me or Chief O'Shea?
So obviously, a lot of what we do is getting the community involved, and that's our biggest strategy, is having community members reach out to us and provide information. And the only way they do that is us building relationships with them. So we're going to continue behind masks, if you will, holding bike rallies and building relationships with the community as much as we can. That's, you know, that's the number one strategy, is the 147,000 people that live here working together to get rid of the guns. That's the most successful strategy we have. And we'll use all the investigative tactics that we always do, and we always have historically done, and we will continue to do those, and grab people who are selling guns, selling drugs, take them off, put them in the system, let them go through the judicial process if they're found guilty, get them out of here for a while, and the investigators will not stop, and they keep working on it. So, but the biggest strategy we got is everybody in the city, everybody in the region, and the guns come from all over. They come, you know, people are always saying that they always come from Chicago. That's not true. They're stolen in burglaries, houses. People really encourage people to buy safes that can't be carried out. Lock up your guns, because a lot of guns get stolen in residential burglaries. And as soon as they're stolen, we know they're going to show up in a shooting somewhere. But our guns come from Wisconsin, they come from Chicago, they come from Indiana. But a lot of them get stolen from homes. And legal, lawful homeowners who can legally possess the guns, lock them up. Put them in safes that can't be carried out the door.
Just going off on that, can you kind of talk about maybe the ripple effect that getting, you know, one gun, two guns, this number of guns off the street, kind of what that potentially does down the road for our violent crime?
You know, I won't say every gun, but almost every gun that's illegally possessed, I can't tell you how many casings we're finding nowadays from shootings. We're having shootings, discharges just about every day. So grabbing these guns, this is just a drop in the bucket. There are guns everywhere. The amount of guns we're seizing is incredible. And the amount of gunfire we've seen this year, which again is a 180 from the last 3 years, we're going the wrong way. So we really need people to step up and give us information, because there's just a ton of gunfire happening. And it's a game of inches. People show up with a gunshot to the leg, goes a foot higher, they're not walking into the hospital anymore, now they're being carried in and probably not coming out. So. But we routinely have people that get shot that don't want to cooperate with us. They have some choice words for us while we try to talk to them, and I can't say those words here, but we unfortunately have a lot of people that get hit by gunfire who are probably doing illegal things when they get shot or shooting back, and they don't want to talk to the police. And that really hampers us, because we're letting one person go who just did a shooting. Historically, that person's going to go do a bunch more shootings. So we just need community members who witnessed the shootings or have information on the shootings. Give it to us anonymously, but put us in the right direction so we can get these shooters off the street.
Tagging on that, do we have, if we can even speak to it, you know, their records of previous crimes that involve shootings or anything to that effect?
You know, people's criminal history, you have to get that from the state. We can't divulge criminal history. You can get it. It's through public access. You guys can get it from the state police. We won't give out criminal history. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Marilyn, can I see those weapons again? That were-
Yes, sure. Go back. Happy to do that for you.
Not that, oh yeah.
There's two
Yeah.
slides. Which one you want? Okay, that's the first one. And then.
Or is this going to be sent to us via, this is part of the
No,
press
this-
release?
No, this is not part of the press
Okay.
release, but you can certainly. And then I'll go to the next page when you're ready.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody get that page?